Shavua Tov. I hope you are doing well. It's been a while, and that's a story for another time. So first of all, I miss this. I miss kind of thinking about Torah ideas and sharing them with you. So I'm really excited to share this idea with you today. So you've probably seen these kippahs before, right? Nanach, Nachman, Meuman. And over Shabbos, I was thinking about this kippah when I was wearing it. And I was also thinking about perhaps a chidush. I'm not worthy of chidushim, but perhaps a chidush. So all of you perhaps have heard of the story Yosef Mokir Shabbos, which is in Gemara Shabbos. And there's what an amazing Gemara, what an amazing Masechta. There's so many amazing ideas there. Well, one of the ideas that our Rebbeim, our sages have taught us about is about respecting Shabbos, honoring Shabbos, spending money on Shabbos, and all of the benefits a person can enjoy in this world and the next for fulfilling Shabbos properly, halachically, getting excited for Shabbos. It's something I'm working on myself, how to prepare more, almost to the point where it feels like you're getting ready for Yom Kippur, how much you do for that, to kind of tap into that same energy as I'm getting ready for every Shabbos. And it's a big avoda. But one of the things, one of the stories that we learn in Gemara Masechta Shabbos is the story of Yosef Mokir Shabbos. It's the story of an individual whose name is Yosef, who loved and cherished Shabbat so much that he actually got the name. People gave him the name. Oh, it's Yosef, the one who, cherishes Shabbos. And what did he do? What did he do to earn this title? What he did was his entire week was focused on preparing for Shabbos. So he would save money, and he was pretty poor, actually, but he would save the little money that he had to buy the best stuff for Shabbos, and he would have a feast on Shabbos. So he would save money, buy things, save them for Shabbos, or he would just buy the freshest things on Friday. And that's what he would do. And his family they all enjoyed it. And they would practically have a feast every week. But other than that, he was a very poor individual. So sometime later, some astrologers came to a wealthy man in the town and said, hey, we're just letting you know that that Yosef Mokir Shabbos, that poor guy over there, he's going to get all of your money one day. And so this made the rich man, the stingy rich man, very worried. I don't want Yosef to have my money. I don't want to lose my money. This is what I have. And so what he did was he sold everything that he had, and he bought with all of his money, all of his riches, a extremely large pearl. And he took that pearl and he sewed it into his hat, and he would sleep with it, and he would walk around with it, and he felt very secure. He said, there's no way Yosef's going to get my money because I have it all on my person at all times. And so one day, as you could probably guess what would happen if you haven't heard the story before, he's walking over a bridge, and a tremendous wind comes, blows off his hat with the stone sewed into it, and it falls into the water, and he loses it, and he loses his money. Under the water, a huge fish came, swallowed the pearl, and that was it. Now, coincidentally, on a Friday afternoon, there were some fishermen who were fishing in the water, trying to get fresh fish to sell before Shabbat, and they catch this beautiful fish that had swallowed the pearl. And they take it, and they go to the market and they say, who's going to buy this fish? Because it's almost Shabbos and everyone's kind of getting ready to, take their showers and get dressed, and they're kind of leaving the marketplace already. But someone told them, hey, go to Yosef Mokir Shabbos, go to his house, and he always buys the freshest, best things for Shabbos because that's what he's known for. So they go to his house, they bring the fish, they say, hey, we just caught this. Do you want it for Shabbos? And he says, absolutely. So he takes the rest of his money, he buys the fish, and he says, I got to prepare it now because it's almost Shabbos. So he's sitting there with his knife, he's filleting the fish, he cuts it open, and he finds this stone. And he becomes instantly extremely wealthy. And it says that he went and sold this pearl for 13 bags of riches. And he became a very rich man. And that's the end of the story. Now, aside from all of the amazing ideas that are contained in there, and probably the hidden ideas, that the agadic, different hidden ideas that are in there as well, is this idea that the rich man took all of his money and put it into a stone and sewed it into his hat. And I was thinking that maybe one of the reasons why people wear these big, huge hats is that what you can do with them is have an instant hitbodedut session, right? Which Rebbe Nachman talks a lot about. So all you have to do is lean back, put the kippah over your head, and you have your instant hitbodedut session. And what is higher than hitbodedut? What is higher than Emunah? There's nothing higher. That's the story of the lost princess. Is what we're all looking for in this world, is Emunah in Hashem. Is realizing that everything is part of the tachlis, and when you take your kippah, you put it over your head, and you close your eyes, and you talk to Hashem, you're finding Emunah, you're connecting to the tachlis that Rebbe Nachman talks about every single time, or that you have to do every single day. You have to ask yourself, why am I here? What am I here for? What is my purpose? And that's maybe one of the ideas, is that while the rich man takes all of his money and sews it into his hat, we take everything that we have and we treasure being able to converse with Hashem in our own words and find Emunah. And you can also find that in your hat. And there's a lot of other chidushim here that you might think of, and I really hope that you comment and you let me know what you think. And I'll leave you with one last thing that I thought about as well, that another connection between this story of Yosef Mokir Shabbos and Rebbe Nachman is that Rebbe Nachman wrote or told and then was written down 13 main stories, right? Now, we know that Yosef sold that pearl and acquired 13 bags of riches. So if you could visualize these stories as each one of these bags of riches, right? And we know from Tehillim and so many more sources and through experience that Torah is infinitely more precious than all of the gold and silver in the world, because gold and silver is just what you use for how many years? 70 years, 80 years if you're strong, 120 years, whatever it is. It's so temporary and it's nothingness. It is nothingness. And the Torah lets you acquire this world and the next world, which is never ending. And so think about these stories, how much is contained within them, how much advice is contained within them. They're literally so much more precious than an entire bag of gold and silver. So those are two chidushim, two connections that I had between this story of Shabbos, which is Emunah consciousness, right? Imagine if you're walking around with the idea and feeling of Shabbos, which is Emunah, throughout the entire week, right? And that's what it is. When you drop into your hitbodedut session, you're dropping into Shabbat consciousness. And really the idea is to become tefilah. I am prayer. I am tefilah. And that only happens if you're doing hitbodedut and then connecting with Hashem, Shaviti Hashem lenegdi tamid, and seeing Hashem in everything and bringing that consciousness into everything that you do, bringing Shabbos consciousness into everything that you do. So let me know what you think. Yeah, I know the kippah looks it's a lot, but you can always do an instant hitbodedut session. Have an amazing week, an amazing rest of your day, and comment below. Let me know what you think.